It's Eric Weber here on a Friday night with a very special stream. As you know, Friday night, whenever we go live, we have something big to discuss. And tonight is coming out of left field. I didn't like F9. I think F9 sucked. I mean, a Fiero in outer space. What are we even doing here? So when Universal said, here comes Fast X, I think I might consider passing on this film. But tonight, for those of you who say, I hate every movie, Weber hates every single film that he sees, I'm here to tell you that Fast X is hella entertaining. This is a film that I think I might have just had the most fun in a theater in years. And Jason Momoa, you just wait until you see this guy chew up the scenery at a level. I mean, this is the kind of thing that you, at the end of the year, I might even consider throwing him into the supporting actor race. That's how great Momoa is. Tearing this thing up. And that is one of the huge reasons why this film is so much more entertaining than F9. And I'll tell you here, let me just call it like this. Fast X is the Infinity War of the Fast and Furious franchise. And when you see the film, you'll know exactly what I'm talking about. This is a million times better than F9. And yes, we do have a lot to discuss. Although, as always, whenever we do one of these out-of-theaters reactions, we always remember to mention that this is not a review. So, Universal, as there is a social media, you're allowed to talk on social media. So, socially, we're discussing Fast X tonight. What's interesting, though, the studios usually don't mind when you have nothing but pretty much praise across the board for a film. Biggest surprise of 2023, Fast X. You're looking at a film that unloads every bit of ammo that it has and then leaves you wanting more, hence the Infinity War comparison. Now, things happen in this film that make absolutely no sense, right? This is Fast and Furious. As we've seen this franchise since way back, was it 2001 was the first one? 2000? I mean, we're talking about 23 years of this. So you had to do something to keep it propelling forward. But this film, what's interesting about this film versus F9, somehow it feels grounded even though a lot of what you're watching is completely and utterly absurd. But it really comes down to Jason Momoa making you feel nothing but joy watching him just absolutely own his character that channels, and one of my good friend Britt, who I saw the film with tonight, mentioned this and I go, you're 100% right. He is channeling Gary Oldman in The Professional here. That is high praise. For anyone that's ever seen The Professional, if you haven't, you need to. That is the level of bad guy we're looking at here with Jason Momoa. And it's not just Momoa. It's everybody here, and they keep bringing in more and then more. And Statham's back, right? You've seen that in the previews. There's cameos that you'll be excited to see. And in case you haven't heard, it's everywhere. You knew that they had to bring him back. When you go and you look at Hobbs and Shaw, I think it's the best Fast and Furious film of the past however many we're looking back. I mean, that's a strong action film when you had The Rock and you had Statham. And they're both back. Now, The Rock, okay, he's back. I don't want to say anything more than that because Universal's already going to be like, Weber, you're breaking the embargo. No, I'm not. This is not a review. We're just discussing. We're shooting the shit here on a Friday night about a film that I found to be really fun. So for everybody who comes into my world saying, you hate everything, that Weber hates every single film that he sees. He hates every single movie they've ever made. Then there you go. The beauty of Midnight Movie Talk is when you are unbiased and when you're objective, you walk into films and you see them for what they are, and sometimes you come out and you are shocked by your reaction to what you just witnessed. And tonight, that is exactly what is happening with Fast X. We need more people in this space who are able to stay objective when they watch films. When I hammer a film like Beau is Afraid, it deserves it. Have you seen it? It's unwatchable. Fast X, on the other hand, knows exactly what it is and then delivers upon that ridiculousness and gives you more than you ever imagined that you'd want out of the film. What else do you want? To the comments. All we're doing tonight is Fast X. That is it. Remember, we are in this weird little embargo situation, so I can't get too detailed on the movie other than Momoa owns. And then I think that Louis Leterrier, is that how you say it? Leterrier? He's done a bunch of films. I remember Clash of the Titans. Remember that? I forgot all about that film until I looked and saw what else he's directed. I'm like, my God, he directed that. He does a nice job. As you guys know, he came in because Lin was on this and then he clashed with Vin Diesel. And then you get a film that manages to pull through all the adversity that we saw. This thing had so much going against it, right? And it somehow managed. It's a miracle. This film is a small miracle that it is as strong as it is. And I can't wait to see Fast 11. I mean, I can't believe I'm saying that. I'm literally like, I want to see Fast 11. What is wrong? Someone slapped that. Something's wrong with him. He's broken. He's malfunctioning. Someone fix that guy. I'll tell you what. It's really fun, guys. You're going to have a great time. It's the biggest surprise of the year for me. I hope it sucks. It doesn't, Black Punisher. Don't come in here and say, listen, when Paul died and when Fast and Furious 7, that is a beautiful finish, and it kind of feels like that's where it should end. And technically, you're probably right. It should have ended, right? Because we saw 8, we saw 9. But then somehow we managed to have a script here that unloads everything and keeps it grounded enough to make it work at a hella entertaining level, and it ends up being the biggest surprise of the year for me. I don't know what to tell you. I honestly do not know how to explain what I just experienced here tonight. But that's the magic of going to the movies with an open mind, is that when we go, we have... we try to keep the expectations in check. And granted, that's not always easy. Right? If the director's somebody that you really respect and you love all their films, you're going to naturally be a little bit over anxious. You're going to want to rate that higher than maybe you should because you like all the previous works. But the number one rule of what I do when I go into an evaluation is to forget everything that was before and only look at what we have in front of us at this moment. And tonight is no better example of that than me shelving F9. A terrible film, I would argue. I mean, an embarrassingly ridiculous Fierro in Outer Space film. And now we have a film that somehow manages to not only put the franchise back on course, but re-energize it to a level that I'm calling it the Infinity War of the Fast and Furious franchise. So you figure it out. I don't know what to tell you, except I am in a state of utter shock here tonight. A little bit on Joker, but again, it's really Gary Oldman professional when you look at Momoa here. Momoa is just owning and absolutely flamboyant and just he is such... He has such personality, and I think that's what we talked about. Remember last night when we did the stream, we discussed that abomination of a film, the incredibly dull Hypnotic. Ben Affleck does not have what Jason Momoa has. Jason Momoa has that next level, right? He is personality plus. And when you watch Aquaman, when he gets to be, when he gets to have the first half of Aquaman, that is Momoa at his best. But then here tonight, you have him even elevating on that. He is personally responsible for saving the Fast and Furious franchise. Jason Momoa has somehow resurrected this near extinct franchise by putting a villain character that will live in infamy in cinematic history. That's how good he is in this film. And we get, spoiler alert, there's more, which is good. It's 10 times more excited for this thing. You should be. If I listen, because the truth is, I'm hard on films. You guys know that. I will admit that. I'll own it. It's a badge I wear proudly. But it's the only way to go about this, in my estimation. I think you need to go in and expect more out of a film. In this case, I actually expected less, but it gave me more. Even if I expected more, it would have delivered. But when you see F9, you're just like, yeah, whatever. Here comes Fast X. And I think Universal is in a state here where they are probably a little panicked because they are releasing this news a week early that The Rock is coming back. And there's also some others that'll probably leak out here in the next few days. I'm not going to do it here tonight because that would be really bad and Universal would get pissed off. So I'm not going to do it. But you guys, The Rock is all over the place. You guys know he's coming back. He had to come back. It needed to happen. Hobbs and Shaw. You got both of them back, and we will have them going forward. Fast 11, after watching Fast X, Fast 11 is going to be massive. Like, this film is going to be so much bigger than I expected because the word of mouth will be at about as high as you can imagine for a film. Because, remember, the expectation of the audience when it's met for the film that they want and then it's actually exceeded by quite a substantial margin, then you are talking about a film that is going to do far better in the marketplace than a lot of people expected. And if this is any indication of what we have to look forward to this summer, then we are in really good shape. Because as you know, this summer is stacked. And when a film like Fast X is way better than you expect it to be, then you only can just raise those expectations that much higher for this summer. When we get Oppenheimer, Mission 7, when we get Barbie, we get Indiana Jones back. So many films coming our way here shortly. And the fact that Fast X is great, a great film for what it is just going to make for an amazing summer. So yeah, a few more, and we're going to make this stream very tight tonight. This stream's going to be no more than 20 minutes, max. It might even be 15. I want to get in and out because right now Universal's probably like, take it down, but it's all glowing, and we didn't ruin anything in the film. If I mention The Rock's back, it's in all the it's everywhere. It's all over Twitter, you guys. Good God. Come on. FM Ghost. Was Brie any good in it? Because I think she would be the letdown. No, Brie is solid. Nobody here brings the film down. I think one of the big problems of F9 was you had Cena as the bad guy. And he just isn't that good in that role. We saw him in the same thing in Bumblebee. He's not strong. He needs to be the likable guy, and he's back to that here. The other thing I want to mention about this film that is very important, stakes. The stakes are real, okay? And that is going to make my evaluation that much higher whenever we have stakes that mean something. One of the big criticisms I have of Scream 6, for those of you who had a chance to sit through that shithole, that film is terrible. And then one of the reasons is because there are no stakes, right? You have people getting stabbed 30 times, and then they're like, oh, he's on the gurney, he's going to the hospital. He just got stabbed 30 times. He's dead 30 times over, and he's alive on the gurney? What are we doing? This film, even though we have the typical car flying through the air, attached to helicopters, all the shit we've seen where you just roll your eyes and go. If you go along with it, which of course you need to even sit through this film. But again, somehow it's grounded. It's not Fieros in outer space, and actually they make fun of that. So kudos again to the script here tonight. Better than Fast Five. Thanks for the super chat there, Mega YouTube. Better than Fast Five. Which one's your favorite? This is, listen, I wasn't the biggest fan of this franchise. I think 7, right? That's the one where Walker rides off into the sunset. That is the best film for me because of the emotion, because of the song by What's His Ass. That thank God they bring back actually in this film a little bit of it, just a little bit of it. And I think that what's that guy's name? Charlie Puth. That song, right? It's been a long day. Blah blah blah. See you, my friend. Whatever the song's called. That's a good film. 5, I mean, I think this is the best film. Felicity, thank you for being a new member. Appreciate it. The Rock's back. It's everywhere. Yeah, it's everywhere. And for those of you who saw Hobbs and Shaw, you know that we needed him back because that's one of the reasons F9 was not a great film. You were missing both Hobbs and Shaw, and they're coming back. We get some here. We'll get more in the next one. But what I love about this film is when I tell you it's the Infinity War of the Fast and Furious franchise, that should tell you how this film feels, without giving you a spoiler. Alan Ng's in here tonight. Alan, everyone's gonna like this film. No one's gonna come out of it and hate it. Nobody. I'm calling it now. Nobody's gonna come out. If I love this film, if I really enjoyed it, if I call it the biggest surprise of the year, do you think that other critics who are shills are gonna say it's bad? When you get a recommendation from me, when the MMT stamp of approval comes from me, when you get that, it's over. It's a good film. Conversely, if I give it the kiss of death, it's over. Beau's Afraid has lost A24 tens of millions of dollars. Tens of millions. Brit, so fun. Brit was 2 seats down for me tonight. It really is. And Brit's usually very positive about films. But he looked at me afterwards and goes, my God, you really like this? I really did. I had a lot of fun with this film. 3 minutes and we're out. It's a 20-minute stream tonight. I hear there's 3 parts of this. I don't know about 3, but I love splitting this into 2. I love it because of leaving us on the cliff, right? The cliffhanger. We don't get enough of it. And I think that this was a very wise move. The film is very entertaining, guys. We're going to wrap here. I don't want to go any longer. For everyone who's here, we'll talk about it a little bit more on Sunday, but I don't need Universal breathing down my neck anymore, but they should be excited because tonight, the Fast X Reacts is that this film is the biggest surprise of 2023, and Jason Momoa is so outstanding as the villain in this film that I do not have a problem with putting him into the supporting actor nominee possibilities as we go further into 2023. This film you are going to have a blast at, and I can't wait for you to see it next week. The stream is over, guys. Before Universal pulls the plug on this thing, this was again not a review, everybody. We're back Sunday night, live from Los Angeles. Eric Weber saying good night. Although I do want to mention tonight's shirt is Club Tijuana. By the way, why? Because we have an X Cholos in the house tonight for MMT on this Friday. Good night, live from Los Angeles. I'll see you Sunday night back here on the channel. Take care, be good. Peace out from LA. MMT.